Sensor and lens dust can ruin your pictures, require post-processing, or just completely ruin your video. And it happens all the time. In fact, this scene is filled with sensor and lens dust. If you can't see it, it might be hiding in the background blur. So Chelsea raised the f-stop up to f22 so we can see some of that hiding dust. And if you still can't see it, maybe it's hiding in all this detail in the scene. So let's pan up to the empty gray sky. I bet you can see some more of it now, right? To distinguish between sensor and lens dust, try zooming your lens. The sensor dust stays in one place while the lens dust moves in and out. You might also see spots in the viewfinder that don't appear in your final photos, and that can be in several different places depending on the type of camera you have. I'm going to show you how to clean all of that quickly, easily, inexpensively at home. So let's go inside. My first step is to bring my dirty camera into a dim room. Put my smartphone into video mode, turn the flash on, and then start recording. Now, if I look at the camera itself, all that dust and dirt and every smear suddenly glows in the light of the smartphone flash. I'll look at the front element, and then I'll also look right in the viewfinder. And this sort of tells me exactly where the problem areas are, so I know what I need to pay attention to during the cleaning process. Don't forget to take the lens off and inspect both the back of the lens and the sensor itself. Woo, in front of all those pretty colors, you can actually see a ton of dust if you turn the camera at an angle. I'm going to pay attention to each of the four corners especially. If you have a DSLR, there's something else you should take a look at. Let me grab one. This is my Canon 5DSR. It's a DSLR. Note that it has a mirror there. See it flip up and flip down as I put it into live view? The presence of that mirror is why they call mirrorless cameras mirrorless, because they don't have it, but DSLRs do. With the DSLR, I'm also going to look with the mirror down at the mirror. That's a lot of dust. And then also at the prism, because dust gets stuck on the bottom of the prism, and you can see that in the viewfinder even though it does not show up in your pictures. And of course, with the DSLR, if you want to look at the sensor, you can put it into live view mode or go into the menus and put it into sensor cleaning mode. Especially with the DSLR, you might not actually see any dust on the sensor because that mirror is almost always flipped down over it, protecting it from dust. It's just one of the ways that DSLRs are a little easier to maintain than mirrorless cameras were. Now that we've identified all of our dust and gotten some before video so we can see the dramatic improvement, let's go into the light and bust out our cleaning tools. As a general rule with cleaning, you want to go from low impact to high impact. So we're going to start by using the camera's built-in sensor cleaning algorithm, which you'll find somewhere in the menu system. If you aren't sure what it is on your camera, check our free tutorials here. What I usually do is turn the camera upside down, take the lens off. This way gravity is kind of working with us. If it happens to shake loose any dust, some of it will at least go down, even though it's not necessarily heavier than air. Then turn your camera off. For now, I'm going to put the lens back on to do the next stage of cleaning. For this, you'll need some kind of blower. A blower simply pushes air, and as you can imagine, that might be a little dangerous because the air might have dust or some kind of contaminant in it, and you might actually be projecting dust onto the area that you're trying to clean. And that's why it's important not to just use whatever cheap blower you happen to get free with your camera, and instead pick up a high quality product. So I have a bunch of products that VSGO sent me, and they're the company that's sponsoring this video. A few years ago, I did a whole roundup and test of different sensor cleaning products and ended up using VSGO, and I've been using them now for years. A few weeks ago, they approached me and said, hey, your sensor cleaning video is really old, and we have a bunch of new, better products now. Let us send you that stuff and sponsor a new video. And that's what we're doing now. So thanks to VSGO for sending the stuff and for sponsoring it. Their blowers are really nice. You don't have to get a junky blower. Like, look right there. You can see this actually won the Red Dot Design Award. Let's pull this out. It actually feels really nice in the hands, and you can see the sort of built-in air inlet there, exactly where it's sucking from. They have a variety of different models and different sizes. Like here's another red dot winner. Oh, I almost threw this away, except that this model has a replacement air filter. So you can kind of see how much they really care and how serious replacing the filter really is, because they have a second one there after the first one gets used up. This is the Falcon S outdoor air blower. This outdoor model has a nice fabric texture to it and has a ring that is sort of clamps on and holds with magnets so that you can easily attach it and detach it when you want to do cleaning, and it doesn't have to take up any extra space in your bag. Here's another red dot design winner. This one's nicely weighted, so it just stays upright in my hand like that. Perfect if you want to keep it on your desk. They also sent me this nice self-contained travel kit with a little strap on the back so you could stick it onto your bag. A couple of these have suction cups on the bottom, so you can actually stick it to a countertop or a desk and it won't roll away. Okay, enough unboxing of toys. The first thing I'm gonna do is actually use a blower to clean the big dust off of the front element here. Just do it like that and you should see some dust blow away. Then I'm going to repeat that process on the viewfinder. Now I'm going to take the lens off and get the back element here. I'm going to try to use gravity to help me here by turning the lens upside down and blowing in there just as much as I can. If I still see dust on the sensor here, then I'm also going to use the blower on the sensor itself. Once again, I'm going to do this by turning it upside down so that gravity works with me as much as possible, and then blowing this in there, hitting it as much as I can from the side. At a glance, I can see I got rid of like 90% of the dust, but I do still see a speck, so I can see we're going to need to get a little more intense with that. The next step, I'm just going to replace my lens here so I don't expose the sensor too much, and I'm going to go to a brush. So I have a couple of brushes to show too. This travel camera cleaning kit that VSGO sent does have a nice little portable brush inside of it, because when you're in the middle of a trip, you don't want half your pictures to end up dirty, so it really is important to travel with something. And you can see it has a swab, and then I can also extend a little brush like this. And this is really useful for getting out bigger particles that the blower didn't get. And, you know, rather than just kind of randomly swabbing around, I'm actually going to look for visible dust that remains and try to get in there and selectively remove it. And again, if you have a trouble seeing it with your naked eye, then go into a dark room and pull out your smartphone and use the flashlight. That's going to make it a lot more visible. This also has a little more reach to it because you can actually get up inside of lenses if you need to. This is the portable kind, and it's nice and metal, but they also have this really sophisticated power switch, which is like the luxury version of a cleaning brush. This model is nice because it has a protective cap that keeps dust off of the bristles when it's not in use. Let's take that cap off, and then we can slide to extend the bristles here. If you have a DSLR, be sure you get in there and clean the dust off of the prism at the top of the camera and the mirror, just anything that you could see. So far everything has been very low contact, but I still see a smudge on this lens. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's definitely there. And I'm just gonna have to rub to get rid of that, but I'm not gonna like breathe on it and use my t-shirt on it. Instead, I'm going to use the flip side of this VSGO power switch. It's magnetic, so I can pull this out and flip it around, and now you see a little swab there. That flipping action makes sure that it's protected all the time. So don't use this on a sensor. This is for like cleaning lenses and stuff. And what I'm going to do is to put this in the middle of the lens and just gently push out. While my own experimentation produced better results moving from the inside out, VSGO recommends using a circular motion. The back element of your lens might also need something like that, so it's a good time to pull out your smartphone flashlight again and really just look in there and see if anything is catching your eyes. Because if there is nothing you can see, then don't do it. My back element is good, so I don't need to get in there. And to help protect this, I can flip it around and let it get pulled back in there. But it also comes with replacement tabs. Problem is, any cleaning product can pick up little abrasives. That's what they're supposed to do. But if you were to continue to use it, then those abrasives could scratch the elements or remove some of the coatings. And so that's why regularly replacing the tips or anything that's touching delicate camera stuff is really, really important. VSGO also makes disposable sealed cloths that are guaranteed clean if you just prefer something a little more compact instead of carrying a pen. These are one-time use, so use them, throw them away. You can use their cleaning spray. Don't spray this on the lens itself, but instead put just a little dab onto the cloth to moisturize it, and that just helps remove the most difficult things like oils from your skin. For cleaning the mirror and prism, it's kind of hard to get in there with pens, so you could use a swab or just a cloth with your finger. It's crucial that you are delicate with these internal components because any misalignment could alter your autofocusing for the worse. This is also an excellent way to clean the viewfinder. Pop the eyepiece off, it usually comes up, just to make it a little easier to reach in there, and then take your moistened cloth and really get in there if you can't reach it any other way. Okay, we've gotten through almost all of it and our camera is mostly clean, but there's still some dust on the sensor. This is really delicate. A lot of people insist on sending their cameras off to the manufacturer for an expensive sensor cleaning. That makes them without their camera for multiple days, and I just find that completely unacceptable. But I have been cleaning my sensor with VSGO products for years before we were ever sponsored by them, and I've never had any problem. It's super easy to do. It takes just a couple of minutes, and I always travel with a VSGO sensor cleaning kit too, because it's day 3, you get some sensor dust and you don't want to ruin all your other photos, right? So the sensor cleaning kits come in multiple different sizes for different size sensors. Like this is their APS-C sensor cleaning kit. This is their full frame sensor cleaning kit. And then they have a medium format sensor cleaning kit for you Hasselblad shooters or your Fuji shooters. This is a full frame camera, so I'm going to use their full frame sensor cleaning kit here. It comes in 2 parts. You get a whole bunch of swabs. That should last you a little while. And then you also have the sensor cleaning fluid. And what I'm going to do is to open up one of these swabs, put a few drops on it, and then drag it one way across the sensor and then back across the other way. And when I'm done, I have an absolutely pristine sensor with no dust on it, no damage to it. And I can put my lens back on and go shooting. All the links to the products I use are in the description down below. Be sure to subscribe to see tutorials and camera reviews and so much other photography content. And thanks to our sponsor, VSGO, for allowing me to refresh a really old video. Bye.